Mountain Comp, where they're located right now, is in the city of Whitesburg. The city of Whitesburg has flood insurance. They have.
In 1962?
No.
In 1962, they voted it down. I left here in 1963 to find work. You know why they voted it down? I can tell you exactly why. I didn't want to go in the coal mine. I did not want to go in the coal mine. That was my last resort. But I did go in the coal mines, and that's what I ended up with.
Sir, what was your name for the record?
My name is Pete Sexton.
Pete? Sir?
My name is Diana Carr. Okay, in 1986, my husband and I moved to Portage, Indiana, which is about 35 miles from Chicago, Illinois. My husband grew up there. Oh, people think it's good. Sure, he had a good job. We paid $700 a month rent for a duplex. So we decided, well, we'll go out and we'll buy us a spot of land. We found a really nice spot of land we wanted. We wanted to get a mobile home and put on it. But due to zoning regulations, you can't put a mobile home on your own property. You have to put it in a trailer park. No matter what you own, you have to put it in a trailer park. There's areas you cannot park in front of your house. You have to have a driveway and a back. You can't park in front. There's areas that you can't even tend to your own yard. You have to pay a fee for people to come in, cut your grass, clip your trees, because of this zoning. I mean, it starts out, you know, things are going to be fine. We're not going to do anything. Sure, it may not. It may not for 10 years. It may not for 20 years. But what about our children? They're going to, all this is going to be pushed on them. It's up to us to decide for our children.
Sir, would you want to speak?
No.
Speak.
My name's Stephen Carroll Sexton, and those of you that know me, this reminds you of what today is, that you hate to go. But anyway, I want to speak to the fiscal court as one elected official to another. All of you have been in office much longer than I have, but it didn't take me long to find out that you have to make difficult decisions, and you have to make decisions that are not always popular. And I would like to submit to the magistrates that brought in petitions tonight that these petitions may not contain a majority of voters in your district. We've heard a lot said tonight about a majority of people. The fact is, we don't know what the majority of the people in Letcher County want when it comes to this particular issue. But if you don't have a majority of folks in your district supporting or against this issue, then the majority is leaving that decision up to you. And that's your responsibility as elected official, to make the decision for the people. I would also remind the magistrates that very few issues that come before the court are district issues. This is not a district issue. This is an issue that affects all the people of Letcher County. And, you know, it's strange, by the absence of elected officials on this particular issue. And maybe it's something that I should run for cover and come out when it's over. But I'm not the type of individual that can do that. I think elected officials should be out front in discussing issues of this sort. And what I'm hearing tonight is that it's my understanding that no one has really researched this issue enough to tell us what the restrictions are that are under now and what additional restrictions will be applied if we do come under this program. You know, there's very few restrictions that you can try to impose on individuals nowadays that are not already there by federal statute, by Kentucky statute, or by local ordinance. And I haven't heard any additional restrictions. I think everything that people try to tell us that's going to be restrictions we're going to be put under is speculation. You know, show it to me in writing. water supply. Well, that's fine and good. We can float a bond issue to do that. But you know what that's gonna do to your taxes? It's gonna raise your taxes sky high if we try to do it by ourselves. And you know what Bill's gonna do? He's gonna be right back up here fussing about his taxes being too high, like the people in Jenkins are doing over their school system right now, fussing about their taxes being too high. The other thing he said about money, that's true. It's about money. Because we're looking for an infusion of federal money, of state money, to help us accomplish some of the things that we need to do for the citizens of Letcher County. You magistrates are in a rare position right now. You have a golden opportunity to move this county forward. Don't let that opportunity pass.
Since he used my name, I'd like to respond to that. A lot of us have not had the luxury to live off the government all our life. And I think if the shoe fits, we got to wear it. And I think I would probably have a better right to grumble about my taxes than he would, because he has basically never paid taxes. You can't take it out of this pocket and put it over in this one. He just handed back what the government gave you. And Harold and I are friends, and I support things he does at the school board, but on this issue, I think he's dead wrong. I don't think he should have singled that out. The other issue is there's no one in this county that has researched this issue and knows as much about it as Willard Gillum. Willard Gillum knows more about this Act of 1973 than any person I'd be safe in saying the state of Kentucky, because he can tell you almost word for word, and he has told me in the past, and I've talked to him in the past, and what he tells you, you can take to the bank, because Mr. Gillum knows exactly what's in that issue. It's not flood insurance, it's land management. That's what's in this program. And Carlos, you'll talk to Mr. Gillum to explain it to you to the fullest.
Yes, I'm June Mayer, and I live over Jobs Country across Pine Mountain in the Stumble Flood area. And I would like to ask that the magistrates and the judge provide us with some type of document that tells exactly what is in this program. We're talking zoning and we're talking restrictions. Sometimes zoning and restrictions are not the same thing. And we have not educated the people in this county. These people need to know, Judge, just exactly what this program will do for them. Now, of course, I'm for it, and I hope you'll vote for it. We must have progress in Letcher County. This is the only way we're going to get it. We can't stand still. But we do need brochures. We need information. We need some pamphlets. We needed them a long time ago. And then I don't think you would have had as much confusion. Is there not a document available for the people?
Yes.
I mean, yes.
This is, I guess, our third or fourth meeting concerning this, and we've had this table full of documents spread out for people to take those documents as many as they want for several times. The document that this court is considering tonight is a sample ordinance that was given to us by the Division of Water. It also, there is a variance and appeals document that goes with that. So there is a sample ordinance. It is not the full law that Bill spoke about. There was some copies of that given away. I think they have all been given away. But what this court is considering is a local ordinance. You know, we're not changing any federal law here. We're adopting a Letcher County ordinance. And so the sample ordinance that we have given out, it's been available since last November. The magistrates have had copies of it since
But you know, another thing, as far as I know, there's no meetings in the areas, and the magistrates, wasn't an area, there was one scheduled, and then it was canceled. The people just don't know what is entailed in all of this. And they need to be aware, and then I think you would have a lot more for than you would have against the plan. If we had more publicity and more information. And especially on the word zoning and restrictions, that's totally different.
Ron Cassidy Freeman, taxpaying citizen in Letcher County. We've had a lot of problems down the lower part of Spook Creek, and just down the highway, and you're getting a lot of flood water. Water problems, flood problems, and septic tank system problems. I'm glad to say the last one, I think, is past tense. Want to put in a good word for Brady Deacon's program. Let me tell you, if I had time tonight to detail the nightmare I had with an inadequate septic tank system, I think you would fully appreciate what I can tell you. A little over a year ago, I was in touch with Brady Deaton, and he made several trips and spelled out down to the penny about what this would cost. And it did cost us some money. But it would have cost us a lot more, and we really couldn't afford it, but we couldn't afford not to have it. Now, even though we made a serious attempt across the years not to have straight pipes into the creek, and we would pay to have it pumped out, but it just comes back in months, not years, but in a matter of months, having to have that pumped out. Well, nobody can go on like that. So some of it found and got in the creek. But Brady Deaton's program is an adequate drainage field, and I'm a case study in what a program related to the National Flood Insurance can do. And people are welcome to come and see it anytime, talk to Brady about it, and I'm for it.
I guess I wanted to start with a question. Are you telling us that currently the KRS that the state has set up already regulates construction in the floodplain? Or I guess what I mean to maybe make it a simpler question is passing the national or our involvement in the insurance program to add any restrictions that don't currently already exist in the county?
It's my understanding, and I got that from the director of the Division of Water in Frankfurt, says that the state's restrictions that are already in place are more stringent than the national restrictions that we're going to adopt, and that there would not be any additional restrictions by us passing this other than what's already in place by KRS 151.
So the passage of this initiative isn't going to add any more restrictions that take anyone else's individual rights?
That is my understanding.
So we've awfully cut and dry. Second point, I sure hope that living in Letcher County has a lot more to do with than just green stuff. And I know I'm not the only one that believes that. And I think that this program and project has a lot more to do with than just money. It has a lot to do with what it means to live in a community. And that means responsibilities. That to have rights, you also have to have responsibilities. Responsibility if you live down the creek, where you toss your garbage over to the hill, and who gets flooded because of it. It seems like the advantages of this, and somebody asked what the advantages were, are also relatively cut and dry. If you want floodplain insurance, you can get it. If you don't have to get it. anybody else's rights, not any additional restrictions, but by passing this, people like that fellow up here, people who want floodplain insurance will have access to it. I obviously am in support of our role in this process.
I'm in favor of the ordinance.
Let's see, we're back, is there somebody decided to come out? No. I'm Mike Gover, I'm the pro tem judge, so I'm a little too close to this to be commenting on it, but I am a citizen, so from that perspective, I will comment on it. I'm for it, so my magistrate in the fiscal court, I would ask them that, for my part, I'm for it. As far as restrictions, I think it depends on whether you live upstream or downstream of the cow barn, whether we need restrictions or not. And if I live downstream, I'm kind of thankful that there are a few restrictions, for somebody not putting a big beef farm or a big, pig farm upstream and letting it wash down in my yard. So I think what I'm saying there is our rights, our individual rights end when they start walking on somebody else's. So, this is the only issue and all that. You need to keep that in mind. I got one question for you guys to answer. If you join this and you don't like it, it turns out to be communist or whatever, what can you do about it? This is a local ordinance, and it's my understanding that if we pass a local ordinance, that we can also rescind the local ordinance, is that right? How long does it take to do that? It takes 2 meetings to pass the ordinance. You have to have a first reading and a second reading, and I would assume, I don't know how long it takes to rescind one. I would guess that it no longer than the amount of time it takes to pass it for sure. What are you guys so scared of? That's what I don't get. Just pass it if you don't like it.
If you got 99% of people don't want it, it's right cut and dry to me.
But I don't understand that, Homer. I don't see that 99.
There's no way around it.
Well, anyway, I've said all I want to say. That's all I need to say. Thank you.
Ben?
Mr. Cottle keeps saying stuff like 99% of people.
That's right.
against it.
I'm getting out this time,
I'm
not guessing.
quite a bit, and specifically, I know a lot of people in his district, and 99% of the people aren't.
99% that I've talked to.
I'd say the majority, from what I hear, the majority of the people in the county are for it, and the only people, most of the people who are against it, and a lot of people who have signed those petitions, I was talking to some people from Neon just a few minutes ago, and they told me the reason they signed the petition is because somebody told them that they had to get a permit to put a water heater in their house. I mean, it's that kind of misleading stuff going on. And also, a friend of mine called Homer last night, and Homer's been saying that 5 people are the only ones for it
That's all
for 2 months now. And you told him last night he was number 5, and you also told him that he'd have to get a permit to cut a tree on his property.
I didn't think I'd get.
That's what you told me.
I told him it was zoning, went with the flood insurance.
You said flood insurance paid, you said it'd be 35 years till we got water in this county, flood insurance passed, and that he would have to have a
You won't have to
permit
get that
to
quick.
cut a tree on his own property. And that's the kind of petition we're talking.
They said to him, say you can't get water down in Pulaski County, Russell County, they putting it to every house, and it's not no
Well,
flood line.
I just can't believe that you're out, you should be listening to people, not out trying to fight.
Yeah,
I can't understand why you want to fight progress.
I'm not fighting problems.
Well, yes, you are.
I'm not.
Justin, let's let everybody else speak first. Ben hadn't spoken, that's the reason I recognized him. I appreciate your comment, but we'll let everybody else speak first. Bud? If you want to speak, maybe, no. Mr. Webb, Dan?
I'm just with
I'm gonna be real quick. First of all, I think about rights, I kind of agree with Mike here, the right to swim with this ends where my nose begins. I live right on this river, and I get to see what you imagine violated every day that I live in this county.
Cecil Calder from Lake County. I've agreed with a lot of these things that have been said here tonight. Most recent thing was June Maggie. We're not educated enough on this, really, make a decision. If you would read the Courier Journal since March 1st, I think you would learn more about the problems that people are having in the areas that were flooded that are under the flood insurance program. It's tremendous. It'll scare you. Those people don't know when they'll get any money. They're promised high in the sky. They're promised this. But when? Not English, Indiana. Reported in the Courier Journal that 1990, they accepted the buyout program. Some, just a few of those people have gotten any money and have been able to rebuild and move to higher ground. Falmouth, Kentucky on April the 8th voted for the buyout option. They say, well, if we can get any money, we'll take it. Why is it that the monies that's needed in this county for just the issues that we're talking about tied to a flood insurance program, that is zoning? We can't get away from that because the people in Falmouth and Louisville that were flooded are going to be penalized, fined $500 a day if they do not get a permit to do the major repairs on their houses or the properties that they lost. There's just so much in the newspaper, that's all I know about flood insurance, is the problems that these people that were recently flooded are having. I think we need to go slow on this. Don't jump into it. I think the attitude has been, now, we have to jump through a hook to get this money that we need in Letcher County. I don't deny that, but I don't like this thing of jumping through a hook because the federal government tells you you have to. It's wrong. Our freedoms are taken away every day, simply on the basis of these little things that they're slipping in. And flood insurance is one of them. I'm against it.
My name is Greg Howard, and I live over in Baltimore. I was wondering if there's any way, when everybody's been speaking, that somehow we could get these magistrates that aren't saying anything, Carlos spoke, you were speaking some, Randy spoke the last time, we haven't heard a thing from these other people about what they think of it, counting beans and where to go. Is there some
I
procedure?
told the judge that I want to speak before we go.
So you're gonna speak?
I'll speak, you can read the phone.
Okay.
I'm not used to what my attorney.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm for it, and I'm interested to hear what the magistrates have to say.
I'd like to say one quick thing. I'm for getting our county in line with the permitting and the program think the magistrates, the word of the magistrates, I think you all saw the excitement of the state government firsthand. When you started this really progressive administration, I think. You got a lot of attention to the things you've already done, countywide garbage collection. I think you saw the attention you immediately got by being open-minded and progressive and starting to do positive things in our county. And I think the state has been looking for this for a long time, and I think they're ready to help us going the rest of the counties around us who are really doing very well. If you've been to Pike County lately, or Hazard, or Norton, you'll see the kind of progress that we have missed out on in Letcher County. And I just hate to be a backwater to those other counties, knowing the talent and ability and the population we have here. I mean, why should we be a third of what Pike or maybe a tenth of what Pike County and a third of what Perry County is doing in terms of economic development? I think you all have the ability to move us one big leap ahead by getting our government in line with the state. And I think you've already seen what they're ready to do for us and how they can help us make the progress we need. And I think the people will come back in 2 years and thank you for helping us get started on the right path moving forward.
Yeah, I'm against it, Bill.
Sir, you want to speak? Yes, sir, I'm against it too.
I think this put right here quick. My name's Darrell Hill, and if we told, I wonder why you would be wanting to pass a law, you already think that you might want to change your mind a day or two. You know, I'd like to know that. He said you can pass this law, you can come here in a couple meetings, you're gonna rescind it and take it back. Why would he want to pass it if he thinks he's gonna take it back?
I feel like it would, I feel like that passing this gives us a chance at some potential progress. I don't think this is a guarantee for anything, but I think it'll give us a chance for some potential progress that we don't have right now.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying, why would you want to pass a law that you in your own mind, so you must really not think, you must really not be for it, because you think you're already looking for a way out of it.
No, I'm just saying there already is a way out, and I don't think it's restrictive as everybody else does.
Where you live, man?
Kenny County.
Your flood over there?
I've never been flooded in my house.
So I got to say, Judge.
No, sir. Anybody beside you?